this is Seth and welcome to the Wrestling Time Pro Show. It is Monday, April 21st, 2025. And actually, tonight I'll be talking about WrestleMania Night too. Before I get into Raw, I'll actually be doing my Raw review tomorrow. But tonight I want to do WrestleMania. Okay, so let's talk about the main event. There are two biggest talking points of WrestleMania were the main event and, of course, Joe Hendry. So the 30 title match, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. This was probably the match I was looking forward to on night 2 the most. And the reason why is because John Cena, give me 1 second, guys. It's because John Cena, being the heel and everything, and Cody Rhodes being the face, I knew for a fact that John Cena was going to win this. I did not think that Cody Rhodes even remotely had a chance of beating John Cena. Like, Cena did not turn heel and align himself with The Rock to lose at WrestleMania. So, honestly, I felt overall this was a really good match. And, of course, John Cena did win. He won with a little blood to Cody, but I didn't really like the finish to this. Travis Scott, really, of all people, I mean, I guess it makes sense because of what happened at Elimination Chamber. Match was awful to me. But I would have preferred if The Rock was out there, honestly. I think it would have made much more sense for The Rock to be out there more than anything, more than Travis Scott. It's just The Rock really didn't appear during this Cena-Cody build. He should have. But I did like the fact that it took 4 AAs. It was Cody Rhodes didn't go down easily. I knew this was going to have a screwy finish. I didn't like when Travis Scott helped Cena. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people did. I personally didn't. So, but with that being said, I felt like overall the match was pretty decent, except for the finish and the ending to this. I did not like it. Alright, so now let's talk about Joe Hendry. Somebody must have said his name because he appeared. He was Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania. Now, as we all know, Randy Orton was slated to face Kevin Owens. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens did announce that he suffered an injury and he would be not medically cleared to compete at WrestleMania. So there was speculation as to who Randy Orton's opponent would be. And some people thought maybe it was a returning Rusev, maybe it was a returning Aleister Black. It ended up being none other than Joe Hendry. Yeah, somebody said his name. And he appeared. So, I believe in Joe Hendry. He needs his TNA title and come in time with WWE. Okay. So, this is from Fightful Select. According to Fightful Select, the wheels were in motion for Joe Hendry to get his opportunity around the time Kevin Owens publicly announced his injury on SmackDown. However, many within TNA didn't even know this match was happening for sure until Saturday. WWE went through great lengths to keep Joe Hendry's appearance a secret and didn't list him internally on any other run sheets. Joe Hendry's contract with TNA Wrestling is scheduled to expire sometime in the next 12 months. It is very obvious that WWE is interested in signing Joe Hendry once he's free and cleared to do so. It's very similar to the situation with former TNA and current NXT superstar Jordynne Grace. So this was aggregated by WrestleZone. So WrestleZone, aggregated what Fightful Select said. I have to say, I had a tear in my eye. I felt so happy for Joe Hendry just because as someone who watches TNA wrestling, to see the rise of Joe Hendry from being an unknown and just being known within TNA to where he is now. I mean, he wrestled at WrestleMania. He had a WrestleMania moment. 63,000 people were chanting, "I believe in Joe Hendry," and they were waving their arms side to side. I legit was so happy for him. I wanted to cry. I really did. But we got to give credit what credit is due. And that credit goes to AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar. For those of you who don't watch TNA, back in January of 2024, Joe Hendry was feuding with AJ Francis and his faction called First Class. And it was Joe Henry's feud with First Class and Joe Henry's apology to AJ Francis that caused him to go viral. If you haven't seen Joe Henry's apology to AJ Francis, he parodies Creed's Higher as he's apologizing to AJ Francis, and that caused him to go viral. So let's give credit to AJ Francis. It was AJ Francis who helped Joe Henry go viral and got him going with some momentum. So, Joe Henry did work really hard to get to where he is now, but credit goes to AJ Francis as well. And like I said, I'm just so happy, so over the moon for Joe Henry. Sure, Randy Orton won. It was expected. Sure, it was a short match, but, Randy Orton did do Joe Henry's pose. He raised his hand. Joe Henry's better than AJ Francis. AJ Francis is actually pretty good. But I was just so happy for Joe Henry. And if you're curious, I do review TNA wrestling on a weekly basis. I used to do it here on my channel, but now I do it every Thursday on Body Slam. Alright, so WrestleMania Night 2 kicked off with the women's title match. It was Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. This was actually a really great match. This is a great way to kick off WrestleMania. I actually really like this match. Far better than Charlotte versus Tiffany. Honestly, I feel like of all the women's matches, this was probably the best women's match they had the entire WrestleMania night between night 1 and 2. Oh yeah, that was funny. So I was really surprised Io Sky retained. I kind of thought, this is a triple threat. They're probably gonna, give it back to Rhea or they're gonna give it to Bianca. But no, I was personally surprised Io Sky retained, but I was really happy she retained. And Bianca's undefeated streak at WrestleMania ends since she took the loss here. Next, we get the Sin City Street Fight, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I have to say, I was a little disappointed by this match because Glad Night 2 opened up with hot with the triple threat. Oh yeah, definitely. They needed that after the disastrous Night 1. So the reason why I was disappointed with the Sin City Street Fight is because this just felt like a regular match. It's called Sin City. I thought it was going to be more of a gimmick match. They were in Las Vegas. I wanted to see maybe a slot machine being used, maybe a poker chip, maybe, give someone a paper cut with a deck of cards. I just wanted more, gimmicky objects here, and I just got a regular street fight. So it should have just been called a street fight. Good match, but it was missing blood. Yeah, I feel like this would have been a good opportunity to incorporate some blood. They didn't have to get all busted open. But I feel like you would have a missed opportunity. But like I said, I thought it would be more of a gimmick match because it was dubbed Sin City Street Fight. But all we got was a table. It would have been really cool if we got a giant poker chip. Maybe what is that? The crabs table or something? Something like that. Just something that represented the whole Vegas field. But we didn't get that here. And then Damian Priest, a Slayer. The guitarist from Slayer, played him to the ramp. I'm not the biggest Slayer fan. Actually, I don't even know any Slayer songs. Maybe I know one, but I don't think it's Slayer. I don't know. Not really too big of a fan. It might be one of those things where maybe I heard a song and I just didn't know it was Slayer. Let me know in the live chat or in the comment section down below if you're a Slayer fan. What songs would you recommend me to check out? Because I'm not a Slayer fan. We get the IC title match. It's a 4-ways. Bron Breakker versus Penta Es Cero Miedo versus Dominik Mysterio versus Finn Balor. My God, Bron Breakker spraying Carlito on the outside. Holy shit. Now, I was a little surprised Dominik Mysterio won this. I thought for sure Penta Es Cero Miedo was going to win this. I mean, that was just me personally because it was just me being biased, but it makes sense storyline-wise. They've been teasing, with this version of the Judgment Day, they've been teasing, Finn Balor being really upset with this version of the Judgment Day. And Finn Balor wasn't too happy that Dominik got inserted into this match. It was interesting that Dominik pinned Finn Balor to win this match. So I'm okay with Dominik Mysterio winning the match as long as it leads to the eventual split of this version of the Judgment Day. I was not the huge fan of this version of the Judgment Day. I felt like they've stuck around longer than they should have. But I feel like now it's only a matter of time before the group either disintegrates or Finn Balor just leaves completely. And then we had AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This was actually not bad. I felt like AJ Styles and Logan Paul, like, I felt like this was a sleeper of a match. Like, I thought it would be a pretty decent match, and it was. Dominik winning was the right decision, but we got the return of JD tonight. Yes, I'll talk about that when I do my Raw review. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I don't know, like, let me know what you guys think. Should I continue doing, like, my reviews the next day, or should I do them the day of? I'm trying to keep doing them the day of, but sometimes it gets a little hard because, like, I have to rewatch everything that I miss, and then it gets late, so I try to keep that into consideration. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys prefer. So Karrion Kross got involved in this match, and Logan punted the victorious after he hit the pulverizer to AJ Styles. So it seems like they're setting. We really should have just gotten Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Day of, still you super for day of? Okay, I'll try to stick to that maybe next week. Because like I said, it was either do Raw. I had to go back and finish watching what I missed from Monday Night Raw, and I still hadn't done this review, so I wanted to do this first. Yeah, this match should have just been Karrion Kross versus AJ Styles. I feel like they're setting up a match with them, so it's kind of like, why did you give AJ Styles Logan Paul? But anywho, last but certainly not least, we get the tag team title matches: Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria, and it was supposed to be Bayley, but Bayley got attacked and taken out. Give me 1 second, guys. Got attacked and taken out on the countdown, so she needed a replacement partner, and obviously there was a lot of speculation that it was going to be Becky Lynch. And so Becky Lynch made her grand return. She's been away for a whole year, and she was victorious alongside Lyra Valkyria. Now, when you think about it, it kind of does make sense it was Becky Lynch because, as Liv Morgan has reiterated this entire last year, she retired Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch's last match was against Liv Morgan, which Liv Morgan won. So it makes sense that Becky Lynch was Lyra Valkyria's partner. So Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch were victorious, and they are the women's tag team champions. Lyra Valkyria is a double champion. Honestly, to be completely honest here, I would have much preferred if it would have been Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, because, like I said last time, Lyra Valkyria's Intercontinental title reign, not the best. Really, not the best. And, she really hasn't had, how can I say this, a concrete feud. Like, she still had the title defenses here and there, but when you look at Chelsea Green and what Chelsea Green's done with the women's United States title compared to what Lyra Valkyria has done with the women's Intercontinental title, yeah, it's like night and day here. All right, so that is it. That concludes my WrestleMania Night 2 review. On a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, I like Night 2 a lot better than Night 1, honestly. I think Night 2 alone, probably a 7, maybe 6.5 plus 7, just because the matches were better. But I was not a huge fan of that finish of Cody Rhodes and John Cena. But overall, WrestleMania Night 1 and 2, 7 out of 10, good show, better than Night 1 overall. Very made WrestleMania this year. Yeah, I feel like overall, WrestleMania is probably like a 6.5 out of 10, just because night one was generally so like much weaker night. Honestly, like night one felt like a lot of those matches could have just been on a random episode of Raw or SmackDown, depending on what brand they were on. But yeah, all right, well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or this video. And I'm going to do my Monday Night Raw review tomorrow. But again, overall, 4 out of 10. Okay. But again, overall, I am going to try to stick to them the day of, because it seems like you guys prefer them the day of. But let me know in the live chat in the comment section down below what you guys prefer. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you could share your support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for my Monday Night Raw review. Bye!